The rain poured down in relentless sheets as I drove through the desolate, winding road on my way home. The darkness outside seemed to swallow the world whole, and the rhythmic patter of raindrops on the roof was the only sound that kept me company. The dim glow of my headlights was my only defense against the encroaching night. I had just finished a late-night shift at work, and fatigue weighed on me like a leaden blanket. My eyelids grew heavy, and I fought to stay alert, knowing that drifting off even for a second could be deadly on these treacherous roads. As I rounded a particularly sharp bend, I saw a figure in the rearview mirror, a silhouette lurking in the backseat of my car. Panic surged through me, and my heart pounded in my chest. I couldn't recall anyone getting into the car with me, and the back seat should have been empty. My eyes darted back to the road ahead, and I tried to shake off the unsettling sight. Maybe it was just a trick of the shadows, I thought, a play of the mind brought on by exhaustion. But when I glanced back at the mirror again, the figure was still there, unmistakable and malevolent. A shiver ran down my spine as I realized that the figure was no trick of the light or a figment of my imagination. It was a man, his features obscured by darkness, sitting silently in my back seat, his presence an eerie and unwelcome intrusion. With trembling hands, I gripped the steering wheel, my mind racing. How had he gotten into my car? What did he want? Fear gnawed at my insides as I tried to come up with a plan. I couldn't simply stop the car. I was miles from the nearest town, and this desolate stretch of road was devoid of any signs of civilization. My eyes darted between the road and the rearview mirror, and with each glance, the man seemed to draw closer. His eyes, cold and devoid of humanity, locked onto mine through the mirror, and a sinister smile tugged at the corners of his lips. I knew I had to do something, and I had to do it quickly. My heart pounded like a drum, and I took a deep breath to steady my nerves. I couldn't let this stranger take control of the situation. Gathering every ounce of courage, I abruptly swerved the car to the side of the road, slamming on the brake keys. The tires screeched in protest as the car came to a sudden halt. I leaped out of the driver's seat, adrenaline coursing through my veins, and threw open the back door, ready to confront the intruder. But to my horror, the back seat was empty. There was no sign of the man who had been there just moments ago. I frantically searched the car, my heart still pounding, my breath ragged. It was impossible. He couldn't have disappeared so quickly. I stood there in the rain, drenched and trembling, my mind racing to make sense of what had just happened. Had it all been a hallucination brought on by exhaustion and the eerie darkness of the night? Or had I narrowly escaped a sinister encounter with an unknown threat? With no other choice, I got back into the car, my hands shaking as I gripped the steering wheel. As I continued my journey home, I couldn't shake the feeling that the man was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for another opportunity to reveal himself. The rest of the drive was a blur, and when I finally pulled into my driveway, I felt a profound sense of relief wash over me. But even as I locked the car and stepped inside my house, I couldn't escape the lingering dread, the haunting knowledge that something inexplicable and malevolent had been in the backseat of my car that night, and it had vanished without a trace.